Welcome to Spendlab. Today I'm going to show you how to add your first grant into your Spendlab budget. I have an Excel file attached here for a 5-year grant. I can type in the duration that I want my overview to cover and adjust sliders so it's just the right place. I can put in some initial startup funds here, type in whatever starting balance I have, and with any funding source I can also add in indirect rates. I can add in a new grant by clicking Add Funding Source, and then I can rename it to whatever I want. I'm going to copy and paste my institution's indirect rate here. If it changes over time, I'll click Changing Over Time to create a definition. I'll select wherever the indirect rate changes and drag to create the window that I want to change. I can then double-click to create subsections and adjust them with sliders or typing in the new indirect rates. Now that I have that definition taken care of, I'm going to add in my grant installments. If it's the same amount each year, you can take a value, copy and paste it, move it to wherever the grant starts, and double-click every time you'll get a new grant installment. If it varies from year to year, you can also change individual values. Now I can add in my expenses, starting with my employees. My PI gets funded through the grant during summers for 3 months at 2/3 effort. I'll start by copying and pasting in her monthly salary, changing per year to per month. Then I'll type in her fringe rate and specify the time she works. I'll start at the beginning of the grant and drag to the end. I'll then click the split button below unassigned. I'll type in the % effort split and assign a funding source to both pieces of the split. And I can double click and drag to create little 3-month blocks. If her salary or fringe rate changes on a yearly basis, I can click here at Changing Over Time, set a definition, and type in the yearly increase amount. If this expense or any other expense is for some reason exempt from indirects, you can specify no indirects. With an employee working full-time on the grant, I can simply type in their name, drag during the course of the grant, specify their funding source as the grant, and add in their yearly salary and fringe rate. I have 2 graduate students who earn the same amount per year, so I'm going to standardize their salaries and fringe rates. I'll set up my first graduate student's salary the same way I did my other full-time employee, but this time I'll select Changing Over Time to make a definition. Here I can set the salary to Changing Over Time, and I can also rename it Graduate Student Salary. I can then take my next graduate student and set the salary to Graduate Student Salary. Both students will then automatically get paid the same amount. I can then do the same thing with a graduate student fringe rate, and I can adjust it to change over time just like I would institutional indirect rates. I can then apply it to both of my graduate students. If you have to pay graduate student tuition, you can select it in the Other category and create a definition down below. Double-click to create an installment in a graduate student's tuition and type in whatever value you need to. Spendlab will automatically repeat the payment every year. You can also type in a yearly increase. Next, I can add in hourly staff by changing per year to per hour. Add in the fringe rate like normal, and then you can drag and double-click to create sub-blocks. Then you can type in the number of hours worked per month within that sub-block. I can then add in other expenses the same way I added in staff, dragging for payments made over the course of a year, and double-clicking for one-time payments. I can then repeat this process with my equipment, travel, service, and other expenses. And at the end, I'll name my lab and click Save. That's all. Thanks for watching.